Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is TamezTech and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to be checking out an insanely cool Pokemon in the Fantasy Cup. This Pokemon, I don't think you've ever seen a video of this Pokemon before, and if you have, well, kudos to you, but I don't think I've ever seen a video of this Pokemon before. This is one of my favorite Pokemon, especially more in the card game. I feel like Dragapult has really cool cards. By the way, we are using Dragapult lead today. We are using a double fairy backline. As you can see here, we're using Azumarill and Dedenne in the back. I know it's a little bit of a meta backline, but dude, Dragapult is just so frail and it's so slow. It needs all the help it can get. Just for a little bit of reference, Dragapult in the Open Great League is ranked 926, which is almost at the end. I believe there's 1,100 Pokemon available for the Great League, and Dragapult is at 926, so that's really not great. Also, it has about the same stat product as Mewtwo. So yeah, once again, this thing is insanely frail. It's even more frail than Caesar. So let's see what we can do with it. We actually do really decent in these battles, surprisingly. So yeah, let's go ahead and check out these battles and see what we can do. I was running Dragapult in the lead. Honestly, sometimes when you run a spicy Pokemon, it's really easy to run it in the lead. Just to like try to RPS whatever you see in the front. We see Lucario in the lead, and I was really hoping it was Force Palm, but it wasn't. My opponent swaps in an Azumarill, and I mean, of course, you know, I don't want to land a double resisted Dragon Claw into Azumarill, but getting that debuff is really decent, right? Especially getting our defense boost first as well. They Hydro Pump, and look at that. I mean, we're still in the yellow. That is crazy. I can farm up to the back-to-back parabolic charges at this point, and if my opponent wants to shield one, they're gonna have to shield another. That's a cap tie right there, baby. So yeah, we're able to take the knockout and a shield. They bring in Lucario. We're gonna make another parabolic, so I'm gonna swap out. I don't want to get sniped down with that energy, and I feel like my parabolic will be useful in the back. And lo and behold, it definitely is. There is a Corviknight back there. At this point, I think this game is pretty straightforward, but it might still be a little bit tricky, right? This Corviknight, the pacing is just ridiculous for this Pokemon. Dragapult should be able to take care of that Lucario, and if I can force a shield with this Ice Beam, I should be able to combo play since their clock is not up yet because of the catch earlier. So yeah, we're able to take this knockout. We should be able to just astonish down this Lucario, and that's going to be a GG. Very tricky endgame there, but we pull through. Both of our shields up. All right, into Dedenne. Honestly, this matchup isn't terrible, and they always bait, so I don't mind. They bring in Alolan Dugtrio, and I really should have swapped in a little bit earlier, because now they're going to be able to get to 2 Mud Bombs here, and I'm going to have to either shield one or let this go. I opt to letting this go, just fully sacking my Azumarill. Definitely not the ideal playstyle, but if this is double slap, I think I have to make something happen, right? Unfortunately though, my opponent does shield this move, which kind of seals my fate. They bring in Dedenne, and I feel like my last win con here was getting to back-to-back moves. So I should have like overfarmed a whole bunch against that Dedenne. But yeah, that was looking like a really rough game to win regardless, unfortunately. Double slap against this team is really rough. All right, we see Dedenne in the lead once again in the next match, and yeah, like I said, they usually always bait, so I'm not really worried about this. We can tank a parabolic really easily. They bring in a Sumeru, we bank a Shadow Ball, bring in Dedenne. We should be able to throw this parabolic right away on decent timing, not perfect, but still, I mean, I want to get this defense buff before they get their Hydro Pump off. Honestly, I can't believe how many Azumarills are running Hydro Pump in this meta. I understand it has a lot of like one-shot potential and stuff, but it's just not enough. They bring in Excadrill, they throw a Mud Slap, and then they catch on Dedenne, and I'm like, what is the game plan there? At this point, I mean, we're winning, right? We have this double Breaking Swipe for the Excadrill. We can double debuff them. They're also a non-shadow Excadrill, so they're gonna need like 3 or 4 moves to really knock out my Azumarill. And I mean, thanks to the bubbles, they're just not gonna be able to get there. So yeah, pretty cookie cutter game. I have to say, all these games in the Fantasy Cup, they're very like straightforward. Not a lot of crazy plays have to be made, and the games are really fast paced, so I can appreciate that. We see Excadrill in the next match. They safe swap into an Azumarill, and I feel like they're kind of trying to bait out a Dedenne, right? I feel like maybe there might be a Corviknight back there or something like that. If there was, though, this team is really weak to Turtonator, but I do want to overfarm a little bit. I want to be like 4 away from a move if possible. They do bring in the Excadrill here, and unfortunately I'm not going to be able to save Dedenne, but we do get this Parabolic off, and look at that. I mean, that's a third of their HP. That is not bad damage. We bring in a Azumarill. We should be able to easily tank this Drill Run. They bring in Florges though, and this does get a little bit tricky. I kind of want to throw on Good Timing here, which does give my opponent quite a bit of energy, which isn't great. But then my opponent throws on Bad Timing, so we're able to shield this Chilling Water. Honestly, I should have called that bait. They always bait there, but if I do, they just farm me down with the Fairy Winds, so maybe not the best idea there. I will let this Moonblast go now though, and I should just be able to bubble everything down. Excadrill doesn't get to a move. Florges shouldn't get to another move either. I mean, not a Moonblast at least. And yeah, we're just able to take that game with a Azumarill, as cringe as that may sound. We see Corviknight in the next match, and I like to play this matchup doing 4 Astonishes and then trying to catch. My opponent, though, they just go for the Air Cutter right away. So they might be either threatened by this Dragapult, or I don't know. Maybe they just don't really care to throw the payback into me. We swap in a Azumarill, and we see a Dedenne in the back come in. They are down shields though, so this isn't an awful matchup. We can either force a lot of damage into this Dedenne or a shield. They could throw another Parabolic here, but I might be able to survive this move. Am I? No, I'm not. We can bring in Dragapult though, try to get this farm down, and at this point, I feel like the Dedenne just has to do a lot of cleanup work, right? Not a lot of teams are ABA weak to Dedenne, but Azumarill is practically everywhere. I'm gonna catch this Air Cutter here, and I have a Shadow Ball banked, and lo and behold, there's the Azumarill. So we're able to throw this move right away. My opponent did have to swap out, so I could throw on technically alignment, but it's not really. That's a tricky conversation for another day. I'm going to shield the first move from Azumarill since this is the only neutral move left in the game. I feel like Corviknight's moves are going to do a lot less damage. I'm going to throw this right away into this Azumarill here because I don't want to take any more damage from this thing. I want to be able to survive the moves enough to get to another Parabolic against the Corviknight. And yeah, that's a good game. My opponent stays in. They're kind of BMing me, throwing Iron Heads and whatnot. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to pay the favor back. I'm going to throw a Shadow Ball into you and knock you out. So I will take that for sure. All right, Dragapult into Ferrothorn in the next match. Honestly, not a bad matchup at all. And they reveal their moveset right away. They reveal that they have Mirror Shot. They don't even want to bait the Flash Cannon or anything. And we can easily survive 2 Mirror Shots here. So if they want to throw up a shield for the Shadow Ball, be my guest. I do not mind. I can still tank another Mirror Shot. Unfortunately, they will outpace to the 3rd here before we get the 2nd. That is how slow Dragapult is. Oh my god, I feel so bad for this Pokemon. Honestly, if we could get like a pacing ghost move for this Pokemon, that would be great. Unfortunately, Dragapult got kind of canned not too long ago when they nerfed Breaking Swipe. So it just has absolutely no pacing anymore, and it's a really, really difficult Pokemon to run. We bring in a Azumarill into the Arctibax though, which is a crazy pick, and we're able to force a shield on this Dedenne. At this point, I just need my shield for Azumarill, right? I kind of just have to land a move into this Dedenne so I can take it out with my Azumarill, and Azumarill can just completely wall the Arctibax. I overfarm and I overfarm. I want to make sure I don't get caught with right now, and this Dedenne is still a little bit too healthy, so I'm gonna go ahead and overfarm here. My opponent still reads me like a book. They're able to catch, but we're gonna undercharge, and this should set up a perfect bubble farm down for my Azumarill to come out with a Play Rough or an Ice Beam, and that should still seal their fate. So very valiant effort from my opponent there, making a really, really decent catch after the overfarm there, but we're able to adjust to it. All right, we see Shadow Caesar in the lead in the next match. Honestly, a very scary Pokemon. Once again, I like doing 4 and then waiting a turn and catching out, but this Caesar actually throws on Bad Timing just to get their move off. I'm gonna force a shield with Breaking Swipe here. They actually make a nice catch on their own Azumarill, but this is really decent for me, honestly. Like, I have to get rid of an Azumarill if I can, so if I can have it aligned to my Dedenne, that would be more than ideal. We're gonna overfarm quite a little bit here, make sure we come out with our back-to-back moves. Again, if my opponent wants to shield this one, they're gonna have to shield again. If they bring in Scizor, I can just instantly Parabolic, and that should force their hand, because I should be able to get to one more Parabolic charge after all these boosts. So Scizor is going to be forced to throw energy here. They do Night Slash, it doesn't knock out, and we're still able to survive the Bullet Punch after to get another Parabolic charge. So everything's going wrong for my opponent, but not as wrong as it's going for me. They have a Dedenne in the back, and we have an Azumarill, so the tables have turned. We just got rid of their Azumarill with our Dedenne, now they're getting rid of our Azumarill with their Dedenne, and at this point, I kind of just need this damage to either land or not. It does land, so now I'm going to instantly pivot into Dragapult, and I want to get as much damage as I can with these Astonishes. Look at those Astonishes, dude. This Dedenne is double boosted on their defense, and those Astonishes were still absolutely chunking. That is just crazy, man. Those look like mud slabs. Oh my god. All right, we see Shadow Magnezone in the next lead. Honestly, a very decent match for us. If anything, I would like this thing right here, right now. Because Azumarill has a terrible time against it. So does Dedenne. They bring in their own Azumarill. I'm going to overfarm severely here because, to be fair, that Magnezone is practically gone, right? They took an Astonish at a double debuffed defense. So I'm pretty sure they're about 1 or maybe 2 bubbles away from getting knocked out. We're able to farm this Azumarill all the way down here. We come out with a Parabolic. The Magnezone comes back in, and I can either force a shield or a knockout with this Parabolic. We don't take that second Volt Switch because I don't want to cap tie on a Mirror Shot. That would be terrible. They bring in Turtonator. We have all this energy on Dragapult. We should be able to get this knockout pretty comfortably here. We get the first debuff. We could throw the second one on really good timing. And I think my opponent is just kind of giving up at this point. They're not really throwing any energy or anything like that. We're able to 3-ball flex that game though, and yeah, that's a nice win. On to the next match, we see Togekiss in the lead. Honestly, this Pokemon is a bit of a nightmare for this team. I know Dedenne kind of deals with it, but you really never see it on Dedenne. So I'm going to overfarm a little bit with my Dragapult, try to make a catch. Don't really mind if we don't make the catch. Goodra comes in though, and honestly, this isn't a terrible spot to be in. Goodra's going to have to throw double Thunder Punch if they want to get the knockout. So they're going to throw a move here, and oh man, the game crashes. I have to say, I feel like we were in a pretty decent spot that game, but unfortunately, the game is just not going to allow us to play that one out. On to the next battle, though. We see Corviknight in the lead. Once again, I like doing 4 and then catch, and my opponent actually instantly throws the payback. Oh, well, they actually air cutter there, but they throw it right away, which is so weird. I mean, I would have gotten like a full free Astonish there, so very tricky. Either way, this Corviknight is staying in here, which is a little bit suspicious. Honestly, I feel like we still win the zeros here, even with that energy lead they got. So a little bit confused by these plays, but I'm just going to keep over farming here. I should be able to get the full bubble down at this point. So let's go ahead and try for it. It looks like we can. My opponent brings in Giratina here, and I mean, I have a bunch of loaded energy, so I'm just going to throw double Ice Beam because I'm not getting to double Play Rough. I throw the double Ice Beam, they tank 1, they tank 2, and my opponent just gives up. I don't know what they had in the back, but that is an extremely weird play to make. I don't know why you would ever just sack your Tina like that. Regardless though, we have Dedenne on the lead in the next match. Once again, we are stone cold calling this bait once again. I am not fearing this Dedenne. I'm gonna bait myself, and this is a crucial error. I don't know why I did this. Honestly, I called their bait, so at this point, they're just trying to get any advantage they can, and they call their own bait. So yeah, kind of messed up there. Now I have to catch a Parabolic on my Dedenne if I don't want to go down 2 shields. But they have a Giratina in the back. Honestly, this isn't a terrible matchup for us. It is worse than into the Altered Giratina, in my opinion, just because this one, it does a lot more damage, and the Resisted Thunder Shocks are a little bit tricky. They do Ominous Winds though, that knocks us out. We can bring in a Azumarill here, but I'm a little bit scared of what might be in the back. Honestly, these shadow balls are chunking us, and we have really bad pacing with the Azumarill, so I don't know. It's looking a little bit dire. I'm really hoping it's not an Azumarill in the back. I'm gonna throw after 1. I really don't want to get any more chip than I have to. I should be able to throw on good timing here as well. Throw after 3, and yeah, my opponent shielding those moves. It's very telling. They do have an Azumarill in the back, and unfortunately, I just don't think we're gonna have the amount of play that we need to actually get a win this game. My opponent tries for a catch there. Really weird, honestly. If anything, I would have liked to get knocked out first so I could get a bubble head start with my Azumarill, but we were not tanking to play rough anyway, so that's going to be a GG. On to the next battle, yet another Corviknight lead. Once again, we are going to be doing 4 Astonishes, swapping into a Azumarill. This Corviknight is a lot more patient though, and they do bank their energy and swap into a Weezing. We're able to cap tie with the Ice Beam, not Icy Wind. Please don't give Azumarill Icy Wind. Oh my god, that would be awful. We're able to last this Ice Beam, and we just have to kind of get to 2 moves here if we want to make anything happen. But this Weezing is just a little too much damage. They actually Fairy Wind farm us down. I'm going to come in with Dragapult and just throw this Breaking Swipe. Hopefully I can force a shield or something. We don't, but we're able to get the Astonish down regardless, so that's pretty decent. They bring in a Azumarill. I'm just going to instantly throw the Shadow Ball. And I'm going to pivot into my Dedenne after they... I guess I'm just going to get knocked out here. But Dedenne should be able to sweep this game. It's going to be still a little bit of a tricky matchup, though. I'm kind of confused on where to use my shields here because I know Air Cutter is resisted, but also I want to get my boost off first and whatnot. So yeah, it's getting a little bit tricky. At least we know, though, that Azumarill is completely dry, right? And that's definitely ideal. The sand attack from Corviknight, it does do a lot of damage though. It starts at 3 damage per sand attack and then goes down to 2 with the parabolic boosts. So honestly, the most threatening problem here are the sand attacks, and my opponent rightfully is just throwing Air Cutter to fish for a boost. Unfortunately, as soon as they actually get the boost, they have to swap out because I have the move. So very unlucky for my opponent there. To be completely honest though, I don't think any boost would have done much for them unless they got one like in the very first Air Cutter. But nonetheless, we do take that game. On to the next one though, we see a Azumarill in the lead, and honestly, this isn't a terrible matchup. I've seen a lot of Azumarills are running Play Rough Hydro, so they actually don't cap time me or like throw an Ice Beam early. We're able to actually catch a move on our own Azumarill. It is a Play Rough, unfortunately. It's still neutral damage, but I mean, if I can tank moves on Azumarill instead of a Dragapult, I will absolutely take that. My opponent actually brings in a Mud Boy here, and this is a little bit scary, right? Because I'm having a feeling it might be double Mud Slap. So I kind of feel like I have to save my Azumarill here. I'm going to throw this Ice Beam. If it knocks out, I think I'm just going to bank some energy and catch on Dedenne, which is really, really nice for us. And if they have a Mud Slapper, then so be it. They do. We're able to get this Parabolic off, which is really decent for us. And honestly, just the fast move pressure alone should be able to take home this win. We bring in a Azumarill, we cap tie with the Ice Beam. I don't think I can use my shield here, unfortunately. I'm going to have to get this farm down with Dragapult, and I'm going to have to farm down that Azumarill as well, but we're able to out damage them. Oh my god, those bubbles looked as effective as my Astonishes, dude. This thing is so frail, it's ridiculous. On to the next battle. Scizor, not a great Pokemon to see, but we're able to successfully make that catch I was telling you guys earlier. We make the Night Slash catch. We are going to have to shield a Trailblaze regardless, though. These Bullet Punches have done enough damage here that we're not in a decent spot. And our opponent actually stays in with Scizor. They don't want to keep desyncing the clocks. They don't want to be switch locked into this matchup. So very decent play by them. We bring in Dedenne into Azumarill, and they have a Turtonator in the back. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and full send this Play Rough here, and my opponent actually shields it. I don't know if I'm shielding my Dedenne ever, which I'm not. They actually Brutal Swing, which is really decent for us. We can get another Play Rough off. And I don't know why my opponent would have shielded the first Play Rough. I just don't think Turtonator is their win con at this point. I feel like you just kind of bank it all on Azu there, right? I bring in Azumarill right away because I know we can basically tank any move they have, even Flash Cannon. Azumarill comes back in. We're able to throw this Play Rough instantly. And honestly, I think I can tank another play rough here, or at least burn some energy from them. So we burn some energy, we should be able to get to another play rough, and that should be all she wrote. Unfortunately for my opponent, I do have a little bit of residual energy on the Dragapult. Remember guys, when we threw 4 Astonishes and then caught at the beginning of the game, this kind of gives us really nice pacing. So we're able to farm down the Turtonator. They try for a catch, I'm guessing, and we're just able to Shadow Ball the Azumarill. And that's going to be a really nice game. On to the next battle here. We are seeing another Scizor lead. Man, these are very unforgiving. Once again, we're doing the same play, 4 and catch. My opponent, though, is not allowing that. This is the second opponent that throws a Night Slash on alignment just to get it off. Thankfully, though, they bring in a Corviknight, and I have a really decent answer to this Pokemon. They do payback. It does do quite a bit of damage. I want to throw 1 extra Thunder Shock here just to make sure I outpace anything in the game. We actually get another 2, so that's really nice. And we should be 2 off of another Parabolic. If that Scizor comes in, we can outpace it, throw this Parabolic right away. And once again, we should be able to get to another one if we have to. We don't try for that play though. We're just going to bring in a Azumarill here. I think we can easily tank this Trailblaze if we have to. And they have an Altaria in the back. I was guessing they were trying to bait out a Dedenne with that Corviknight or some type of like fairy flyer, right? But yeah, we're able to bait out that Corviknight. We get rid of it with our Dedenne, and now we have Azumarill onto the Altaria. We get to the double Ice Beam, force a shield, land 1. Now we have all this damage with Dragapult. We're able to take that knockout and win the game. On to the next battle here. We got Altaria in the lead. Honestly, this is absolutely atrocious for us. These Dragon Breaths are probably just going to 4-shot us. We're so bad there. My opponent save swaps into a Clang, which is... I think they're outspicing me here. I've never seen this Pokemon before. I try to bait the Hydro Pump. My opponent, Balls of Steel, just not shielding that. They actually Zap Cannon us, and we still survive that move. Honestly, this Pokemon is absolute trash. I'm not respecting anything this thing has. I feel like if I do respect it, I'm going to lose my morals. And yeah, it's just a Vice Grip, so thank God we didn't shield that. Altaria does come in, though, and tries to force a shield here. I'm going to throw my Breaking Swipe to force a shield back or get a lot of damage in. Honestly, landing this would put them into Parabolic range. Unfortunately, I didn't burn the clocks enough there. So I'm just going to have to let Dragapult go and just put it all on the back of Dedenne. Let's see if Dedenne can do the work here. Honestly, landing a Parabolic should be decent enough. I'm just going for this right away. I want to land this damage. I want to tank the damage they throw a little bit better. And honestly, it looks like we're going to be able to get this farm down all the way. So whatever's in the back better be really good against Dedenne. But yeah, it looks like it's not. I'm guessing probably an Azumarill if we're trying to be honest here. But yeah, GG's to my opponent there. Really decent lead in the next match. This is a really good matchup unless they have Brutal Swing. Although even with Brutal Swing, these Astonishes, look at this, dude. We've landed 6 Astonishes and they're already at half HP. They bring in a Azumarill, and I'm just gonna bank the back-to-back Breaking Swipes on my Dragapult, dude. That is so threatening for them. Honestly, I bet they hate that. We have 100 energy on Dragapult. We have a hard counter to Dedenne into a Azumarill. We can knock this thing out on the Cacti right here. So we throw 3 in the move. Really decent stuff there. We knock out the Azumarill. What do they want to bring in? They bring back in the Turtonator. And I'm just going to bank a Parabolic here. I feel like it's going to be really useful for the end game. And lo and behold, it really is. My opponent brings in Empoleon. And to be fair, we're completely walled here, right? But they're going to have to tank all these moves if they don't want to have to shield them, right? And look at that. Play Rough already puts them below half HP. So Azumarill is really putting in the work here. And remember, we have 100 energy on Dragapult. So my opponent is in a really, really tricky spot here. I'm just going to full send all these Breaking Swipes. I don't really care if they shield him or no shield him, whatever. I just want to get damage into this thing. They actually make a decent catch on Turtonator, which to be fair, once again, I just don't think it would have done anything for them. But yeah, we're able to take that game. Really well played. Another 3-ball flex. All right, we see a Azumarill in the lead in the next match. Once again, this Pokemon is absolutely everywhere. Unfortunately, this Azumarill does have Ice Beam, and Ice Beam would one-shot probably the entire family line of Dragapult, so we do have to shield that. I'm going to throw this Shadow Ball right before they get to their next Ice Beam. I don't really want to Cacti or anything, so I'm just going to throw it there, bank a little bit of energy on Dragapult, bring in my own Azumarill just to kind of neutralize this thing if they do want to stay in, and it looks like they do. I'm over farming a little bit. My opponent makes a beautiful catch into a dog trio, which is absolutely ridiculous. Honestly, this isn't terrible though. Just baiting this out is really decent for us. We should be able to survive a Mud Bomb here, but once again, I'm thinking if this is double slap, we're kind of in trouble, no? So if they bring in a Azumarill, I can bring in Dedenne right away, make them kind of throw their energy here if they have any, and they should be able to still swap out of here. But this Play Rough onto Excadrill is going to do an insane amount of damage, and I don't think my opponent can afford to no-shield it. Right, so there's the shield. We should be able to outpace with the Azumarill because we already have the move, and I believe they were 2 away still. So just landing that Ice Beam is absolutely ridiculous. My opponent is forced to throw energy here, but this is just going to be farm for my Dragapult, right? So we get an Astonish in. We're 1 Astonish away from the Shadow Ball. We're able to take 1 more knockout with Dragapult. Absolutely crazy Pokemon, and that's going to be the last game of the day. Once again, guys, oh my god, this video was so fun to make. I cannot believe Dragapult put in the work that it did, man. Honestly, this Pokemon is really not terrible, and we barely saw any resisted fast moves, right? We did see like some resisted fast moves against Dedenne and Azumarill, but we even had play against Caesar and Corviknight. All those Pokemon, honestly, this thing is absolutely so fun to run. Just keep in mind though, this is not a team to use for climbing. We did climb a decent amount. We actually went 14-6 with this team once again, but it's definitely not a super meta team. Nonetheless, I know this was a little bit of a longer video, but if you guys did enjoy it, please leave a like down below, leave any comments, any type of feedback you want to leave. We actually just got featured on the Home Slice Henry channel, so if you are coming in here from that video, I really do appreciate you checking out my channel. We're going to be streaming later today on Twitch, so if you want to go hang out over there, we're going to be streaming at 3 p.m. Mountain Time. So go ahead and check me out over there. Also check me out on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all those things. I have a link down in the description below for all of those links, as well as a Discord group. So if you want to join the Discord server, feel free to join that as well. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.